Oh, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday. My thought for you that I've been kind of working with this week is on the idea of the pranava, right? So it was Ganesh's birthday on Friday. And the very fun and interesting thing about Ganesh's birthday is that it doesn't fall on the same day every year. It's not like our birthdays that happen on the same day every year. Is that his birthday is considered this sort of, constant rising, right? So it happens periodically, right? You could say that his birthday happens almost every month, right? Because it's a part of the lunar cycle. But that Ganesha is often depicted as this energy that rises out of the void or comes out of the void on the sound of Om, right? So the sound of Om is what represents our entirety of existence. So it's the beginning of everything, the middle of everything, the end of everything, and it's the space between that connects all of those concepts, right? So out of that original energy rides Ganesh, the one who removes our obstacles and also the one who places our obstacles, right? I cause your problems and I'm the solution to your problems, right? And on this energy, right, Om, we call it the pranava, right? Or that's one of the Sanskrit words that refers to the sound of Om. And pranava means that it is constantly renewing. It is always renewing. And so that energy as it's flowing is it doesn't become or it doesn't get stuck in being the beginning energy or the middle energy or the end energy, is it's always moving through all of them. And so every experience that we have fits into this spectrum, fits into this cycle. And therefore, every experience that we have is part of that infinite energy moving through us. And what is it doing? It's helping us to eternally, constantly be in that state of becoming, right? In our minds, we get caught in, I'm in the beginning of something, the middle of something, the end of something, or I'm stuck in between. But that energy is always flowing. It's always in the process of becoming. It's always in the process of rising. And if we know that, we really connect with that, then every experience in our life is a way back to that infinite self. It's not a closed door, it's an open door. I was reading a very interesting article that was talking about our traumatic experiences as not being something that actually cuts us off, but as something that is adaptive. And we don't think about that, right? That the things that happen in our lives don't just cut us down. They don't just shift us into where we think our problems are, but they're the exact things that are also the solutions to our problems, right? Adaptive. So to see yourself in this way, that whatever you are currently enmeshed in, even if you feel like you're struggling, is that even that struggle, the way that you're struggling, the way that you hold yourself during that moment, during that experience, it's adaptive. It's part of you becoming. It's not an obstacle to that. It's a step in that direction. So we practice as much as we can to connect to this feeling of ourselves as a flow of energy instead of a static, I'm in one place and I'm either in the beginning, the middle, or the end. So that's what we're playing with, right? Is that pranava energy, is that you yourself are pranava. You are always becoming. You're never going to find a moment where you land and say, oh, good, no more work to do ever. Never have to pay attention ever again. Doesn't happen. You are constantly becoming. So that might feel a little stressful, like, oh God, I always have to be paying attention. Yes. But that constant becoming means that you don't have to pay attention in the same way that maybe you do right now. You become aware of that becoming instead of trying to shape it and control it to be what you think it should be. Yeah. So comfortable seat, let the eyes close for a moment. And this is a big part of our yoga practice, is realizing that we are that pranava energy. Instead of I am this person that has a name and a shape and a story and a history and all of these details. I am pranava. I'm constantly renewing. So as you're sitting, let your breath come easily in and out without trying to restrict it, without trying to make it a good, deep yogic breath. Just let it come in and out. And feel that this body, this mind, is a container for that flow of breath. One of my favorite ways to say it is that you inhale and you exhale. Every inhale is the beginning of something new. You can always start again. So whatever happens between an inhale and an exhale doesn't matter. Doesn't stop you, because the next inhale is coming, whether you asked it to or not, it's coming. And so you begin again. That's pranava. So feel yourself not just breathing, but as breath. If that doesn't make any sense, then just notice that you are breathing and that the breath comes to you without you having to ask for it. And then whatever that feeling is that comes along with noticing your breath, try to stay with it as you practice. And it'll change because you'll be breathing differently. But try to stay with this awareness of the flow of your breath, the flow of energy that moves through you, instead of just, I'm doing this pose, that pose, whatever it is that we're doing. Be aware of yourself as pranava. I'm becoming. Take one more full breath. Again, maybe feeling the breath all the way down into the depth of your pelvis. And exhale, relaxing all the way to the tips of your toes and your fingers, your jaw. Stop trying. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart center, palm to palm. We'll open sound of Om, deep breath in. Let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release the hands. Bring yourself forward onto hands and knees, please. So the sound of Om, we say, has 3 parts, technically 4 parts. The 4th part is silence. So if you usually Om and then you're ready to just jump into the next thing, you skip that part, right? You skip that moment that says, I actually really feel the sound of Om. I actually really feel that expression of pranava. So part of our practice is slowing the mind down so that it can actually feel what it is. But it's not just limited to thought. Start to cat and cow, please, on hands and knees. Good. Make sure your fingers are spread wide so you have the ability to actually put a little pressure down into your hands. And then see if you can almost spread wide through the tops of your feet. So if you do that thing where you tend to rock forward and back on your kneecaps, I want you to keep your shins a little bit more rooted to the floor. Good. Nice, you guys. Moving the spine, inhaling, long spine, lifting the chest, exhaling, rounding the back. Good. And staying with that flow of breath so that you're not getting into that sensation or that thought of, oh, my back bend isn't as big as I want it to be, or rounding my back really stresses out my lower spine, or whatever your mind usually does when you're cat cowing. Or you're not just thinking about what you had for breakfast. Because sometimes cat cow, that's what our minds do. They just wander. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Good. Keep going. Try and keep that steady pressure into the hands and into the shins. Nice. And you're staying with your breath. So there's nothing that you are going to accomplish through cat and cow except opening up your spine. So if you think, oh, if I do it this way or I do it that way, it's going to magically change my life, I think you're going to be disappointed. What it will do is help you open up your spine so that you can stand a little taller, breathe a little deeper, and move a little bit more freely. And through that, maybe you know yourself to be more capable of an easeful life than you thought you were. Good, keep going. I know, notice when you start doing the movement and your breath has gone out the window and you're like inhaling, exhaling, I don't know. Try to stay with the inhale, lifts the heart forward, and the exhale lifts the back of the heart up. What if we just did this for 20 minutes? Good. It's an interesting question, right? Could you stay with it for 20 minutes or would you get bored? It's all right to admit that you would. That's part of the practice, right? Is not to be caught up in what's coming next, right? What is my becoming going to become? Where am I ending up? But to actually just be where you are. And if there's something valuable here in this breath, which there is, then why would you want to run to the next one? Good. Next time you round your back into that cat position, stay. Nice. So just pressing up through the back of the rib cage, feeling the low belly, draw in and up, press through the hands. Nice. Make sure your shins are rooting down. Good. Now stay rounded, but relax your shoulders. There you go. Excellent. Now tuck your toes, lift your hips, come into downward facing dog, still a little bit rounded through your rib cage. So your head might be a little bit tucked still. So take the hips up and back behind you. Let the thighs move back, soften the heels. And then keeping the rib cage drawing in, lift your back of your throat so your ears come in line with your upper arms. Good. So you're going to find that that arch in your lower back starts, that arch in your upper back starts to soften because you lifted the back of your throat, not because you dropped your ribs. And that's what we want to feel in every pose, is how much we're actually breathing into the space that we have, not collapsing one place to try and make somewhere else feel better. Call that compensation when we do it that way. Good. Take one more breath. Nice. And then step your right foot forward between the hands. Left foot comes forward to meet it, top of your mat. Good. Take both legs to straight. Uttanasana. Good. And then inhale, take the arms around and up, come all the way up to stand. Beautiful. Interlace your fingers, press the heels of your hands up towards the ceiling. So press long through your whole side waist. So you're not just reaching through your arms, you're reaching all the way from your heels, all the way up to the ceiling. Good. Side body stretch to your right, keeping the hands in this position, lean to the right. Good. And as you lean to the right, press a little bit more into that left heel. Awesome. Come all the way back up to center. Don't change the arms. Reach a little taller. Pull your rib cage in and then lean to the left. Good. And pressing through the right heel. So you're pressing down through the opposite leg than where the direction that you're leaning. Good. Come back up to center, please. Drawing the rib cage in again. Good. Release the hands. Keep the arms up. Breathe in. And then exhale, bow forward. Release the hands down to the floor. Good. Inhale, come up halfway. Take the hands to the shins or to blocks if you need. And then exhale, bow deeply again, curl into your belly, push your hips to the sky. Good. Step your right leg back behind you. Good. Drop the knee. Inhale, both arms to the sky on Janayasana. You can use a blanket underneath the knee if you need. Interlace your fingers, heels of the hands up towards the sky. So press out through those baby fingers. Deep breath in, pull nice and tall. Good. And then exhale, release the hands down to the floor. Beautiful. Lift the back knee, please. Good. Step back to plank pose, upward push-up. Nice. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need, all the way down to your belly. Rise up into Cobra, pointing the toes back behind you. Lift head, neck, and chest. Don't go to your full Cobra. So go somewhere where your elbows are still bent. Good. And again, pause there, feeling the pressure down into the hands, radiating all the way up into your arm bones. So I want you to feel your arm bones here. Good. And now feel those muscles around your rib cage contract towards the spine. Good. And then release, come all the way back, downward facing dog. If you didn't feel anything contract there, that's okay. Just pretend. We'll keep working at it. Good. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Left foot steps forward to meet at top of your mat. Take both legs to straight, deep bow. Inhale, sweep the arms around and up, come to stand. Exhale, bring the hands straight down to the center of the heart, palm to palm. And we begin again. Take the arms all the way around and up, deep breath in. Exhale, bow forward. Good. Inhale, come up halfway, hands to the front of your knees or shins or blocks. Exhale, bow deeply, pulling the hips to the sky. Step the left leg back behind you, drop the knee. Use a blanket if you need. Inhale the arms to the sky, Janayasana. Good. Interlace your fingers, press heels of the hands up towards the sky. Again, pull long through your side waist, press through your front heel and let your pelvis drop. Good. Really good, Alana. And then release the hands down to the floor. Good. Lift the back knee, step back to plank pose, upward push up. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Again, feel the lift of your low ribs. Good. And the lift of the back of your throat. That's going to keep that curve out of the upper back. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. All the way to your belly. Rise up, Cobra. Point the toes back. Good. Don't go to your full Cobra. Keep the elbows bent so that you can really work at, can I hug in through my armpit so that I feel my arm bones connected to my collarbones, my arm bones connected to my shoulder blades. Good. And then release, please. Downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Beautiful. Step the left foot forward between the hands. Right foot comes forward to meet it, top of your mat. Straighten both legs and bow deeply, sending the hips high to the sky. Soften your knees. Good. Stretch the arms all the way around and up. And exhale, hands come together at the heart. Good. Begin again. Inhale the arms all the way around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen, hands to the front of the shins or blocks. Exhale, bow deeply, navel in, soften your knees. Step your right leg back behind you. Drop the knee. Inhale the arms to the sky, Janayasana. Press into that front heel, let your pelvis move forward as your heart rises higher up. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Good. Lift the back knee, step back plank pose, upward push-up. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. Point the toes, rise up Cobra. Again, trying to feel that squeeze of your lower armpits. Good. And then exhale, downward facing dog, tuck the toes, lift the hips. Nice, Linda. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Left foot steps forward to meet it, standing at the top of your mat. Good. Inhale the arms around and up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. So just because you're moving slowly, don't get wiggly in your transitions. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bow forward. Good. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Hands to the front of the shins. Exhale, bow forward again, hips to the sky. Left leg steps back behind you. Drop the knee. Take both arms to the sky. Good. Again, as the pelvis moves forward and down, press into your front heel. Feel your right hamstring, the back of your thigh, kick on a little bit. Good. Release the hands down to the floor. Lift the back knee, step back plank pose. Good. Lower down slow, coming through knees if you need. Rise up to Cobra. Lift head, neck, and chest. Again, don't just push to get your back into the back bend, but feel the arms. Feel the chest. Feel the back of the shoulders. Downward facing dog, please. Exhaling, lifting the hips. Good. Left foot steps forward between the hands. Right foot steps forward to meet it. Top of your mat, straighten the legs and bow. Soften your knees. And now re-straighten your legs. Take your hips higher, not pushing your knees back. Good. Take the arms around and up. Exhale, hands come together at the heart. And we begin again. Inhale the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Stay with your breath. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Whatever you're doing, stay with your breath. Exhale, bow deeply again. Right leg steps back behind you. Drop the knee. Inhale the arms to the sky, Janayasana. Feel that front heel, that front hamstring contract, and then lift longer through your side ribs. Nice, Lena. Good, Sarah. Release the hands down to the floor. Lift the back knee, step back plank pose, upward push-up. Find your inhale. And then lower down slow on your exhale, all the way to your belly. Rise up into Cobra. Inhale. Good. And some of you are being so good being slow, coming down to your belly. Nice job. Exhale, downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Good. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Left foot comes forward to meet it. Straighten the legs and bow. And then inhale the arms around and up. Come all the way to stand. Exhale, hands come together at the heart. Stay with your breath. Inhale the arms around and up. Exhale, bow forward. Good. Inhale, lift and lengthen, stretching through the spine, but soften your knees. And then exhale, bow deeply, not by pushing the knees back, but press your hips higher. Left leg steps back behind you. Drop the knee. Take the arms to the sky, Janayasana. Again, pressing through that front heel so that you're not letting your weight just wobble to wherever your balance happens to go. Create your balance. Good. And then release the hands down. Lift the back knee. Step back plank pose. Really good, Susan. Awesome. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. Rise up into Cobra, remembering the back of your throat, your head, your neck is connected to your shoulders. You drop your head, you make more work for your shoulders. Good. Release, downward facing dog. Nice, Allison. Both Allisons. Left foot steps forward between the hands. Right foot steps forward to meet it. Take both legs to straight and bow. Then inhale the arms around and up, come to stand. Exhale, hands come together at the heart. Pause. Where are you? The beginning, the middle, or the end? Or are you in the space in between? Because if you're doing sun salutes, this is the point where you begin, this is the point where you end, and it's where if you pause, you're in between. You're all of those things at once. This is pranava. Can you feel yourself just as breath that's moving, just as energy that's moving? And sometimes we call that energy thought, and sometimes we call it emotion, and sometimes we call it our physical body, and sometimes we call it our soul. Doesn't matter what you call it. Pranava, it's always becoming. It's never less than it ever was. So there's no need to try to seek to be more. We just stop trying to be something other than energy flowing. Good. Let the eyes float open if they're closed. Stretch the arms up alongside your ears. Beautiful. Bow forward, please. Hands reaching towards the floor or to block. Separate your feet as wide as your mat. Good. Toes continue to face straight ahead, but now the baby edges of your feet are going to be parallel right at the outer edges of your mat. Bend your knees a lot so your thighs move parallel to the floor. Your butt moves back behind your heels. So try to keep your knees right in line with your ankles. Good. So you got to do a little bit of squeezing in with your shins. Feel the big toe mounds root down. Good. Again, this concept that you create your balance. You set your feet, you set the way that you move into your poses, the way you move into your life. So it's not like we just have to guess where is balance going to happen, as we create balance. Not the way we want it to be, but we focus on the way that we move in the world. Good. Nice, you guys. Keep your legs just where they are. Float the arms up alongside your ears. Draw that low rib cage in again and see if you can feel. Turn your palms to face the floor. Let your hands go a little wider and then lift those arms up higher. So again, you can feel that outer armpit area. Good. Keep your chest parallel to the floor though. Push your hips back. That's it. Good. Really good. Now stretch your arms back behind you. Interlace your fingers at your low spine. Good. Hug that same space of the upper back. Drop your head towards the floor. Take your legs to straight, hips to the sky, arms up and over any amount if you'd like. It might feel equally good or better to keep your hands at your lower back and your elbows bent. Good. And again, try and feel the top of your arm bones. It doesn't mean that you don't draw towards the center of the back, but you don't focus on, do I just yank myself into that position? Nice, Beth. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Good job. Heel toe your feet a little bit closer. Step your right leg back behind you. Nice long lunge. Drop the heel. Baby toe parallels back of your mat. Cartwheel the arms up to warrior two. So your shoulders are over top of your hips. Good. Ribs facing the long edge of your mat. Front knee pointing towards second or third toe of the front foot. Nice, you guys. And then arms are extended wide. Turn your palms up towards the ceiling. Bend your elbows. Take the tips of your fingers to the tops of your shoulders and make circles with your elbows. Good. Keep that front knee though in a really good warrior two. So you're letting that knee rest in line with the ankle. And I use that word on purpose. Yes, it's resting in line with the ankle. Not excruciatingly being held, imprisoned in line with the ankle. Good. Nice, Nancy. Good, Susan. Awesome, you guys. Come back to stillness, lifting those elbows just a little bit higher and dropping the shoulders wide away from your ears. Fingertips are still on top. Lift those inner elbows or lower elbows. Good. Drop through the tops of your shoulders. Awesome. Now stretch the arms out wide. Good. Have the same amount of pulling in towards the back of your heart as you have extending out through your fingers. Awesome. Straighten your left leg, please. Good. Extend the left arm forward, rib cage forward, like you're coming into Trikonasana, but don't come all the way down. Just come parallel to the floor. Extend. Keep hugging your feet towards each other. Good. Take the right arm over the ear as well. So both arms reaching top of your mat. That's it. Really good. Spin that right rib cage towards the sky. Good. Soften that front knee, but squeeze the feet towards each other. Yeah, left hand drops down, front leg floor or blocked, right arm reaches straight to the sky. Again, finding that feeling where you are drawing the arms equally in towards the back of the heart and extending out through the fingertips. Nice. And just notice the difference in the way that you feel from when you were holding yourself actively somewhere not quite in the pose, but still in the pose. And when you got the cue of like, okay, I can put my hand down. Did your mind immediately say, don't have to think about triangle anymore? I'm in the pose. That's it. Notice that, right? Because that's what we do. Oh, this is a familiar feeling. I'm already in it. I don't have to think about it anymore. And we do that when it's a physical pose, and we do it when it's a conversation that we've had a million times. We do it when it's an emotion that we felt a million times. As soon as it starts to show up, we say, oh, there it is. Don't have to think anymore. Don't have to pay attention. I'll just go with that. And sometimes that's fine. And sometimes that's our pain, is that we just go with it. With pranava, you can renew every single breath. Opportunity. Bend that front knee again, please. Release both hands down to the floor inside the front foot. Good. Spin your back heel up and then drop your back knee. Good. Walk your fingertips towards the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Come on down onto your forearms if that's available, or use blocks underneath your arms. Totally works. Good. And nice to have a little bit of active pressure into whatever is resting on the floor or the block. So as you're pressing down, you actually get the sensation of energy rising up into the upper arms and into the upper back. Because usually here, because our hips are tight, is what we do is we clench into our upper back, thinking that that's going to help take that lower back sensation away, or that hip sensation away. So can you do the reverse of that, is actually press into your forearms, feel that there's energy rising up into the upper back, and then soften there. So you feel those lower tips of the shoulder blades drawing towards each other. Chest goes a little wider. And you don't have to force it there, but you're just letting it relax into that position, not holding it in that super rounded protected place. Good. And if protection is absolutely necessary, then stay where you are. I said, even our trauma is adaptive. Everything that we do is an opportunity. It's only an obstacle if we go into it and we don't think about it, we don't observe it, we don't even know what it is anymore, because we just run with it. Then we start to think to ourselves, well, I can't possibly not do that. In that article I was reading, it says what happens is that in our minds, we start to create all of these have tos. I have to say this, I have to do that, I have to be this way. And that's why we feel limited. But all of those have tos have a purpose. And if we turn them back into opportunities, then we become free again. The same thing that was our obstacle becomes our freedom. One more breath so that you really drop into this pose instead of trying to get away from it. I know, I've been in this pose too. And then walk yourself all the way back up. That's the roots of compassion. I've been there too. I know what your brain is doing. Lift your back knee, please. Step your right foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight. Pashimotanasana. Use blocks underneath your hands if you need. And even if you don't need, having blocks under your hands can feel really fantastic here. It gives you a little bit more space to get into your hips and your lower back, your middle back. Good. So checking that you are drawing that outer right hip, that's your back hip spinning forward, so that your left hip has room to actually lift and widen. So if we don't change the back hip, the front hip is just going to struggle. Good. So give yourself more space. Nice, Lena. Press into your feet. Feel all 10 toes. Remember, you have 10 toes. Good. And then start to walk yourself towards that baby toe edge of your front foot. You can bring a block with you if you'd like. So that right forearm can press into your left shin. And again, if taking the hand all the way to the baby toe edge of the foot doesn't work, keep the hand on the inside edge, the big toe edge. And again, you can have a block underneath that hand, but find some connection between that right forearm and your left leg, or something solid, again, block. Left hand comes to your hip or to your lower spine. Press up into that hand, either wide into the hand or up into the hand, or both. So left hip widens and lifts. Good. Now draw into your low navel, your low rib cage, and start to twist your rib cage open to the left. Good. Feel that right shoulder softening down and the right arm bone pulling up at the same time. And then move your throat slightly back. Yep, not lifting your chin, but moving your ears back, moving the back of your head back. And call this your twisting triangle. Don't worry about that left arm. Good. Just find the length of your spine. Hips continue to draw back. Hips, not knees. There you go. One more breath. Be in the pose. Good. And then slowly release, please. Both hands finding the floor. Good. Bend the left knee. Step your right foot forward, top of your mat. Feet underneath the hips. Bend your knees. Drop your belly onto your thighs. And then wrap your arms around the backs of your legs. Drop your head. Let your chin drop towards your chest. Good. So you're squeezing the backs of your legs. Good. And then as you squeeze, curl into your belly, round your back. So you're pulling everything away from your thighs, and then stay this hugged in, start to stretch your hips up towards the ceiling, pressing your inner knees a little wide. So it's almost like you're pressing your legs wide into your own arms, and then pressing your hips up as you press down through your heels. Good. And then release the hands all the way down to the floor. Nice job. Let's see, left leg steps back behind you. Is that true?
Yes.
Second side?
Yes.
Excellent. Drop that back heel, baby toe parallels back of your mat, cartwheel the arms up, warrior two. Good. Shoulders are over the hips, right leg is forward in warrior two. You got it. Nice, you guys. Knee pointing towards second or third toe. Feel all 10 toes. That includes all 5 of the back foot. And then turn your palms to face up towards the ceiling. Bend the elbows, tips of the fingers to the tops of the shoulders. Again, rotate your elbows. Maybe go the other direction from what you did before. And if you can't remember whatever position or whatever direction you want to go, do the opposite. Because we are creatures of habit. So you will always rotate your elbows in the same direction first, unless you think about it. And there's nothing wrong with that unless you never think about it. If you never notice it, then nothing ever has the opportunity to shift or change or renew. Stay with your breath. Again, front knee is resting over that front ankle. Good. Your thigh will complain and say that this is not the easiest place for you to be, but your knee will say it is the best place for me to be. Good. Come back to stillness, please, lifting those lower tips of the elbows a little higher so you get more space in your armpits, and then drop wide through your shoulders. Yeah, and then stretch the arms all the way out, feeling yourself drawing the arm bones into the back of the heart as you press out through the fingertips. Good. Now straighten your right thigh. Again, you know that this is not going to be the relaxation you think it's going to be. So right thigh comes straight, extend out towards the top of your mat, right rib cage, like you're coming into triangle pose, but you're pausing with your rib cage parallel to the floor. Squeeze those feet. Good. Now take the left arm over the ear as well. So both arms reaching to the top of your mat. Rotate your left rib cage open a little more. Throat moves back. Good. Squeeze your feet, soften your right shin. Remember, this is still triangle, right? So find everything that you would normally find in triangle. Good. And then let that right hand come to rest, front leg floor or block, left arm reaches to the sky. Nice. You know, there's a million different styles, approaches, methodologies to doing a asana practice, right? Formal ones anyway. I mean, the things that we know about, there's really as many approaches to doing an asana practice as there are human beings to do asana practice. So it's not like there's a right way or there's a wrong way, but the approach that you take is the one that helps you to understand your body, the one that helps you to understand the flow of pranic energy that is you, that is yours, that's moving through you. So in some of those techniques, you move extremely slowly, or you work in very detailed ways. And in some of them, you do the exact opposite. You move very quickly and say, don't worry about the details, just move with the flow. My suggestion is be able to do both. Be able to feel the flow even when you move slowly, and be able to be aware of yourself even when you're moving quickly. So whichever one you feel less inclined to do or not so skilled at, practice that way more. Good. Bend that right knee, please. Release both hands down to the floor. Spin your back heel up. Good. Drop that back knee, taking both hands inside the front foot. Walk to the upper left-hand corner of your mat. So again, you give yourself plenty of space on your spine, and then drop down onto your forearms or use blocks underneath the elbows if you'd like. But let your shoulders come a little lower. Make sure that your front heel is still flat on the floor. Good. Nice, Lisa. Beautiful. And then again, notice what's going on with your upper back, if there's a feeling of rounding into it in a protective way. And can you reshift that energy into pressing into your forearms or your hands so that you can feel that radiating all the way up into your arm bones, and the arm bones radiating into the shoulder. so that you can soften behind the heart. And again, there might be restriction in the back. That's okay. I'm not trying to say that there shouldn't be that. But the way that you orient your energy in a pose is what's going to allow certain places to either become freer or not. And if you're always doing the pose the exact same way, the exact same limitations, then nothing will change. And if you drop into the pose and say, this is the way it always feels, I'll just be here until I'm allowed to come out, then nothing inside of us really changes. Doesn't have the opportunity to renew. So whatever has gotten you to this point has been adaptive. It's been beautiful. It's been useful. It's been necessary. It's always going to be true. And the more you remember that you are pranava, is that what brings you into the next moment has the ability to renew, shift, change. You continue to adapt, not just I got to a place that felt okay enough and that's where I stay. So we continue as yogis to say, look for those edges in yourself, the places where you are overly protective, the places where you are overly avoiding, the places where you desperately don't want to go. That's Ganesh that says, oh, you want to be free? I have an obstacle for you. As soon as you complete it, as soon as you understand it, you're free. Walk yourself all the way back up, please. Really nice, you guys. You didn't look complaining at all. Lift your back knee. So, if you're fooling me, good job. Step your left foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight, Pashimotanasana. Good. Again, keeping the blocks underneath the hands if you'd like. The blocks can be really, really useful if there is restriction or tightness in the back or in the legs. And not using the blocks doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to move that restriction or change it any quicker. So if the blocks give you more space to really work in that area, to actually rearrange the way that your pelvis is moving or the way that your legs are feeling, then use the blocks. Good. And you can kind of know this if you don't usually use blocks, is put blocks underneath your hands as an experiment and see how much your body goes, oh, thank you. And if it says that really loud, then maybe start using blocks in this pose. Good. Outer left hip, back hip spins slightly forward. And then right low belly lifts up and wide. Good. And then start to walk your hands towards the baby toe edge of the front foot. Again, you can keep a block with you. And if reaching the left hand all the way to the baby toe edge of the foot feels like a little too much, keep the hand to the big toe side of the foot. But find some connection for that left hand, either anchoring against the shin or onto a block or the floor, and then take your right hand to your outer hip or your lower back, whichever feels more stabilizing. Good. Press wide into both hips, right and left. Feel your sacrum press up towards the ceiling, and then start to draw in through your lower rib cage to twist the belly open to the right. Good. And again, I want you to be really focused and measured here, not thinking, can I just twist and get into it and then get out of it? But can I actually let myself continuously be in the act of twisting? Throat moves back. Good. Keep the pelvis moving towards that square position. Left hip spins forward, right hip spins back. Good. I know, stay with your breath. We call this twisting triangle. Draw your throat back. More your head moves back, your shoulders have room to rotate. Nice, Susan. Nice, Allison. Good, Linda. Nice, Beth. Good, Jess. Really good, Virginia. Nice, Maral. And then slowly release, please. Both hands back to the floor. Nice, Melody. Good. Step your left foot forward alongside your right. Beautiful. Bend your knees again, wrapping the arms around the backs of the thighs, dropping your head. Hug. Press your knees a little wider and then start to press your hips up towards the sky, pressing down through your heels. Good. Legs might not come straight. Doesn't matter. What matters is that you are staying really open in your lower back and getting as long through the legs as you can. Good. And then release the hands all the way down to the floor. Nice job. Step the right leg way back behind you. Take your left leg up and back to down dog split. Wow. Awesome. And then bring that knee forward towards your nose, armpits come over your wrist, squeeze the knee in towards your chest, and then send that leg out wide to the right. So all the way out wide to the right, split the legs, baby toe edge of the foot finds the floor. Keep pressing wide, keep pushing out through that leg until your outer left hip comes all the way down to the floor. All the way down, all the way down. That's it. Keep your back toes tucked under. Good. Turn your rib cage towards the front of your mat and then walk yourself forward onto your forearms. Good. Back toes stay tucked under so that right heel is up towards the ceiling as much as it can be. Good. So it's kind of like you're doing a straight-legged twist, but you're doing it facing the floor. And breathe very deeply. Again, pressing into the forearms here can be a way of getting into softening the upper back. Being aware of the way that you try to protect yourself. And having no problem with the fact that you want to protect yourself, just noticing that if you tense your upper back, it does not make your hips feel less. So keep your feet awake. Press down into even the ball of your right foot. Good. Nice, you guys. Every experience that you go through is adaptation. Whether you think it's a good one or it's a bad one makes no difference. And so we can replace the word adaptation with becoming. There is an innate understanding in you of who and what you are. Your mind might be disconnected from it or confused about it, but that innateness is there. It's been there from before the beginning. And everything that you have gone through, every experience that you've had is that innateness adapting. So there's nothing that it's done that's wrong. But maybe it's gotten confused and maybe the adaptations that you've used in the past have now become restrictive. They've become have-tos. Remember, you are pranava. Every have-to has the potential, the opportunity to become maybe. Today, yes, tomorrow, no. Take one more breath where you are. Good. And then walking the hands back up underneath the shoulders, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and then bring that left leg all the way back and up behind you. Come back to down dog split. Nice. And then step that foot forward between the hands, lunge. Good. Take both hands inside the front foot. Good. Slide that left shoulder inside your knee and take your left hand to the baby toe edge of your foot. So you're wrapping the forearm around your calf. And then press into your hands. Let your shoulders reach forward and up, but send your hips backwards towards the back of your mat. So again, you're keeping your weight of your pelvis distributed equally between both feet. So don't let it come all the way forward. Good. Press into your hands. Give a little bend to your elbows if you can. Kick that back thigh higher. And then come up on the ball of your front foot. And for some of you, if your hands are flat here and you feel like your shoulders are stable, start to wiggle that left foot forward so that you are pressing the thigh up to the upper arm and float that left foot up off the floor. Good. And then if you're a superstar, go into the balance. Nice, Allison. Awesome. Good, you guys. And then slowly release the foot wherever it came to, even if it didn't leave the floor. Unwind the arm, please. Press back downward facing dog. Oh, I know, not what you signed up for this morning. Slide forward, plank pose, upward push up, lower down slow, rise up, cobra when you get there. Good. Downward facing dog. What's fun about this kind of a practice is you will have the best Savasana. Because you will think about nothing. Right leg comes up and back behind you. That's the one. Good. And then bring that knee forward towards your nose, armpits over your wrist. So squeeze that leg in. Good. So you squeeze into your lower spine and then send that leg out wide to the left. So behind your left wrist, baby toe edge of the foot. Keep sliding that leg further out until your outer right hip comes all the way down to the floor. Good. Legs are split. If you can have that right leg straight out in line with your hip, that is ideal. Might not be possible, but aim for it. Good. Left toes stay tucked under. Turn your ribs towards the top of your mat. Walk yourself forward onto your forearms. And again, try not to collapse onto your forearms in despair. Hello, right side.
Hello, baby.
Yep. So don't collapse in despair, but keep yourself pressing into the surface. That's right. Meet yourself. Yep. Yep. Good. Right. You can say there's no such thing as easy postures or difficult postures. There's just the ones that we like and the ones that we don't like. It's like there's really no such thing as a good experience or a bad experience. There's the ones that we like and there's the ones that we don't like. Right. So I'm not attaching moral stuff to that because we can get into that in our mind and say, well, no, actually, there are things that are just always bad. Truth. Right. There are things that are never, ever ideal for anyone. But whatever you have found yourself going through, whether you think of it as something good or bad, it doesn't make you good or bad. Your reaction to it doesn't make you good or bad. It shows you your adaptation. Right? It shows you how you decided that in that moment you needed to survive, to maintain who you believe yourself to be. And that's a beautiful thing. Just don't stay there thinking that that moment is the only one that matters. Because the next moment came whether you asked for it or not. And it continues to come whether you ask for it or not. So each breath is that pranava. Continue to keep finding yourself this moment. Who and what do you know yourself to be? And if you're still confused about it, that's why we practice. If we knew and had no doubts, no confusion, is there'd be no point. Yoga wouldn't exist. Right? Yoga came into existence because we're all really confused. Not a problem. Right? Ganesh says it's the obstacle that will bring you back to freedom. It's the way to become knowing who and what you are again. It's becoming. We fight that and think I should already know, or I should already be it, or the way that I am must be it. Can't possibly change. So pranava, as stressful as that might be to be like, I'm always just becoming, it's never going to end. Truth. But that's also the beauty of it, is it never ends. So whatever happened between this inhale and the next one, don't hang on to it. Continue to become. You can thank me for not having you marinate in silence the entire time in this pose. Take one more breath. And then walk your hands all the way back up. Good. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and then take that right leg up and back behind you, back to down dog split. So again, you got to do a little core work here. That's it. You got it. And then step the right foot between the hands, lunge. Good. Take both hands inside the front foot. Good. Slide that right shoulder inside the knee and then bring the hand to the baby toe edge of your foot. So you're wrapping that right forearm behind your calf. Good. Try to keep your hips facing straight ahead. So Virginia, just watch that, left hip spins forward. Good. Chest is lifting forward and up. Throat is lifting up. Hips are moving back. So again, weight of your pelvis is equally distributed between both feet. Press into the hands. So again, you feel that energy radiating up into your shoulders, not like you're hunching into your back, but you're pulling energy up by pushing into your hands. And then come up on the ball of your right foot. And if that's it for today, that's awesome. Kick your back thigh a little higher. That's the secret to this, is you got to keep your back thigh up, keep your butt up. And then if you'd like, you can start to press that right thigh into the right arm, float your right foot up off the floor. Squeeze your legs towards each other. Good. Really nice. Nice, Lena. Good job. And then release that foot back to the floor. Unwind the arm, please. Press yourself back downward facing dog. Don't worry about what did or didn't happen there. That's the keys. Don't worry about it. Good. Look forward between your hands. Step or jump your feet to the top of your mat. Take both legs to straight. Bow deeply. Good. Separate your feet as wide as your mat. Turn your toes out 45 degrees. Both feet bend your knees. Come down, squat. Stretch your arms straight up towards the sky. Good. Feeling the hips draw low. Again, turning your palms forward. Let your arms go wider so that you really feel the openness of your chest. Nice, Elisa. Nice melody. Beautiful. And then release the hands to the floor. Opportunity for crow pose. If you'd like to, plant the hands in front of you. Come up onto the balls of the feet again. Heel toe the feet a little closer. And then as you bend your elbows slightly, take your tops of your arms forward towards the tips of your fingers. Look slightly forward, round into your back. Again, like that cat position. And then play with taking one knee or both up towards the upper armpit. So as high up on the arm as you can go. And then keep drawing those hips up towards the sky as you squeeze the legs in. You got to take your weight forward enough that you might fall. Good. And if you're not doing crow pose, come on down to sit in Badakanasana. Nice, Maral. Good. Nice, Susan. Nice, Allison. Nice, Jess. Good. And then when you are done with crow, really beautiful, Allison. Release the feet to the floor. Come all the way down to sit. Everybody, Badakanasana, bottoms of the feet together, knees wide. Good. Bring the diamond of your legs a little bit longer. So move your feet a little bit further forward. You need a blanket underneath your seat. Make sure you have it. Good. And then let yourself start to walk forward. If you can, thread your arms underneath your knees. So your right arm goes underneath the right knee. Your left arm goes underneath the left knee. Good. Again, giving yourself that sort of feeling of what you can drop into. Nice. And letting the forehead drop. Good, but keep the arms continuing to feel like they are attached to your shoulders. That's it. Nice, Rachel. Feel like you all kind of won the lottery. I was going to, instead of crow, I was going to take you into a much more complicated arm balance as your last big hurrah, but I think it might be a little much for today. So we'll save it. We'll save it and take you into, it's often referred to as flying pigeon. You can just imagine to yourself what the heck that might be. Flying pigeon. Take one more breath. And then slowly unwind yourself, coming all the way back up. Beautiful. Stretch the legs out in front of you. Right leg stays extended. Draw the left knee up in towards your chest. And then step the foot over the right thigh. Good. And you can stay here, or you can bend your right knee as well, taking that right heel towards your left butt cheek. So you can either stay here with the right leg extended or moving towards half Lord of the Fishes, moving that left heel towards your right butt cheek. Good. Left hand comes back behind you, right arm to the sky, no matter what position you're in. Beautiful. And then start to twist again to the left without reaching for the leg. Keep that right arm up to the sky. And just find the twist here. Keep dropping through both sit bones. Keep reaching up through that right arm. And as you reach up through that right arm, the expectation is that you are going to get so tall that you are literally going to touch the ceiling. So you don't just have your arm in the air, but you're reaching through that whole side body. Push into your left fingertips to get taller. Don't fall into that hand, get taller. And then press down through your seat and use your legs to keep that left knee facing up towards the ceiling. Yep, you're like, what? Forgot about that leg. Good, reach one more breath. Good. And then go ahead and hook the elbow on the outside of the knee if you'd like, or wrap the arm around the knee to squeeze it in. Notice as soon as you came into the twist with the arm, if you collapsed in your side body. The answer is yes. Don't be shy about it. Just get longer. Did you do it? Yes. That's okay. Just get longer again. Pranava, we begin again. What you did or what you didn't do was your adaptation. It was part of your becoming. There is nothing that you go through that is not part of your becoming. So you can like it or not like it. You can appreciate it or not appreciate it. But there it is. Good. Slowly unwind yourself. Keep the legs where they are. Take both hands to the outside of your right hip. So the counter twist or twisting in the opposite direction. Good. Again, keep the legs as they are. Just turn the torso the other way and drop that left butt cheek down to the floor. That's part of twisting, is you got to keep your pelvis rooted. Nice. Keep your head in line with your spine. That's it. Nice, Virginia. Good. And then slowly release. Come back to center. Unwind your legs, please. Stretch them out in front of you. Wow. Inhale the arms up to the sky. You know, who knew that spinal twisting could be so much work? And then bow forward. Good. Pashimotanasana. Press your heels down into the floor. Don't worry about pressing your knees down into the floor. Instead, keep your heels rooted and feel your butt pressing back towards the wall behind you. It doesn't actually matter if your legs come completely straight. If you are pressing back and digging down into those heels, as you're still going to be stretching your hamstrings. But what a thought, you don't have to hurt your knees to do it. Walk yourself all the way back up. Good. Left leg stays straight. Bend your right knee in towards your chest. Good. Step it over the left thigh. And again, you might stay here or bend your left knee as well, taking that heel towards your right sit bone. So not underneath it, but just towards it. Good. So again, you should have both sit bones available to reach the floor. You shouldn't be sitting on your heel. Nice. And then right hand comes back behind you. Left arm comes straight to the sky and stay there. Good. Extending longer and longer and longer. Push down through your sit bones, reach up through that left arm, left side ribs. And then start to twist, turning your belly towards that bent knee, but keep your butt pressing down, both sit bones, and keep your side waist lifting up. And press into the right fingertips, not to lean backwards, but to push the floor away. Good. Nice. Don't reach for the knee. Stay in just that lifted position. Good. Stay long, and twist from your belly. So you're already in the twist here. Keep that left knee reaching up towards the ceiling. Push down through the bottom of that left foot. Stay. Long throat. And now stay this long as you either hook that elbow outside the knee or reach around the front of the knee to draw it up and in towards your belly. Good. And if we never find the full extension, even of our body in the asana, then all we're doing is reinforcing patterns. We're reinforcing the places that are already tight. We're reinforcing the places where we already are comfortable stretching. You want to find your edges and you want to breathe into them, at them. Pranava. Good. One more breath. Don't collapse. Nice, Beth. Good, Susan. Good, Linda. Nice, Allison. And then slowly unwind the arms, please, taking both hands to the other side, to your outer left hip, keeping your right butt cheek on the floor. Good, Nancy. Really good. Nice, Josh. And then bring yourself all the way back to center, unwinding the legs. Stretching the legs out in front of you. Inhale the arms up to the sky and bow deeply forward, reaching for the feet or beyond the feet. or not for the feet at all. Dig your heels down. If your knees are bent, that's fantastic. Just move your sit bones back and wide and keep that pressure down into your heels. Good. You can use a strap around your feet if you need. You can place a block at your feet if you need. Good. And then slowly release, come all the way back up. Awesome, you guys. And then go ahead and I'm going to give you the chance to go into an inversion of your choice, whatever you'd like to do, because I know you have so much energy that an inversion is exactly what's needed. So anything that you would like, if you want to do headstand, handstand, if you have a wall available, you are welcome to do that. Shoulder stand is a great option if you don't have a wall. Even if shoulder stand feels like a little bit much, you can be on your back, place a block underneath your sacrum, take your legs up to the sky. Great option. You're like not even that, block underneath your seat in bridge pose or lay on your back with your legs straight up. So many things. But find yourself moving into upside down again mindfully. Nice, Alana. Really beautiful, Allison. Good. Nice, Beth. Good, Jess. Good. Inverting is a way that we start to, again, like that pranava, we move the energy in a different direction. And not because that's the magic solution to changing your experience, right? Oh, if I just go upside down, then everything will change. Well, sure, you'll get a head rush, you'll get some endorphins and all of that. But what allows things to change is you become steadier inside. And as you're steadier inside and you allow that pranic flow to happen without obstruction, without insisting the have tos, it has to be this thought pattern, it has to be that emotion, it has to be this reaction. With less of that, we become naturally more of who we are and we're not so confused. So absolutely invert because it'll help you find yourself. And stand up straight because it'll help you find yourself. Be fully present as who you are as best as you can in front of everyone because it will help you find yourself. And even when you see yourself falling into those reactions, those patterns that you do over and over again, and you know you do them over and over again and you can't help it, you're sure you can't help it. Just notice that you're noticing. And say, even that is adapting. This is still me finding myself. Last couple of breaths and you're upside down. Really nice, you guys. Then slowly start to find your way back down. If you're in headstand, handstand, letting the knees come back in, feet to the floor, nice and soft. Stay conscious the whole time coming out. If you're in shoulder stand, a slow roll down the spine, knees in towards the chest as you find your way to the floor. Good. If you're in some other variation, allow yourself to come on down. If you're in legs up the wall, you can have one more breath. Good. And then find your way, if you are not already on your back, onto your backs. Good. If you're in the room and you want to turn heads towards the center of the room, that is lovely. If you're at home, you face whatever way you want. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Good. Take the right ankle over top of the left thigh, please. Right ankle on left thigh. Reach through the legs for the left leg, left thigh. Flex both feet. Good. And again, find the lowest part of your spine, softening towards the floor. Whether you move fast or you move slow makes no difference. You're finding yourself. Whether you feel like you are sailing through life or you're struggling every step makes no difference. You're finding yourself. It doesn't mean that we won't continue to seek more comfortable and easeful ways to be, and that there are more comfortable and more easeful ways to be. Doesn't mean the struggles don't have any significance. We're asked to remember that the significance is not what the problem seems to be, but that its significance is that it is an opportunity for you to keep finding yourself, to keep becoming. Switch the legs, please. Releasing the right ankle, placing the left ankle over the right thigh, reaching through to hold your right leg, flexing both feet, finding the lowest part of your back, reaching for the floor. We often say that karmically, right, the things that are written into our path in life, or the things that seem to be what we gravitate to or that happen unasked for, it's never going to be more than what you're capable of handling. Because it's not designed to tear you apart, it's designed to show you who you are. It's one of those misconceptions about karma is we tend to think of it as a punishment. I have to do this, have to go through it. Meanwhile, the energy of it is like, well, yeah, the have to is that this is how you best know yourself. You wanted the best way to know yourself. This is it. Sorry, it's painful. So we start to become free internally when we notice where we have all of those have tos. We let them become opportunities again instead of it's already out of my hands. Pranava. We begin again and again and again and again. Unwind the legs, please. Squeeze the knees in towards the chest. Hug, hug, hug. Bring your forehead up to meet your knees. And then slowly release, extending the legs out in front of you. Stretch your arms straight up alongside your ears. So a full body stretch. Stretch out through the legs, stretch out through the arms. And feel how truly tall and long you are. Even if you're short, feel how truly long and tall you are. Speaking from someone who is pretty short. Extend. And then release everything. Let your legs separate, let your arms drop alongside you, feet fall open, mind falls open. Savasana is where we let ourselves fall into the flow of the breath, and we remember that whatever this body or this mind does or doesn't do, I am prana. I am eternal. And in this body and this mind, what prana does is it is always becoming. If that sounds like too much, just breathe in and breathe out. Try not to think about what you're having for lunch. Very gently bring the awareness back to the breath. The body begin to stretch and move in whatever ways serve it well. And as you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest and roll to your right side. Giving yourself a moment before you begin to push the floor away, come back to an upright seated position. Bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. Again, letting yourself feel for a moment that you are a container for the breath to flow in and flow out. You feel yourself as energy moving. And it feels like beginnings and middles and ends. Maybe you catch a glimpse of that space that is between all of those, but is none of those. And that's really always where you are. You're always in the space that is somewhere in the process of beginning and middle and end. But you're all of it. And that's the pranava, is you are always becoming. And no need to worry about what the becoming will become. It's just becoming. You breathe in and you breathe out, and whatever happens between one inhale and the next, it's just you finding yourself, but nothing is left out. It's all part of your becoming. So we honor that. We do our best to honor that. We'll close with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Om. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week until I see you again. Really good work today. You worked really hard and I saw you. So good job. You're off for the rest of the week. You don't have to try any harder. Not one child's pose. That's right. I'm back to my old ways. No child's pose. Not one. All right. I will see you guys soon. If you're staying for meditation, we're on at 11. Again, if you want to come off and come back on, that's fine. Otherwise, I will see you when I see you.
Thanks, Veronica.